This is Rob Carbone, and you're listening to BD4.
Here's Barrett, some shaking big, hits a three. Stands alive in the crowd with Barrett. 5 on the 24. Barrett previously in the air ball. The drive, the layup, knocks it home. Gets it back, keeps it out. Barrett for three. RJ Barrett from downtown. Quick trigger three. Gets another triple. Looking for more. Smith to the buzzer. Smith from way downtown at the buzzer. No good open look. Puts it in. They're on their feet at Madison Square Garden. Elliott to Ewing. That'll make the guard for.
Patrick Ewing faced a double team, but still was able to hit.
The finish and the foul. Easton comes under. Got it.
What is going on, guys? This is Rob Carbone coming at you with another episode of BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Hope everybody's doing all right. Today, at least in Jersey, on the East Coast, it was rainy day, cloudy, rainy. Not much to do, but hang inside and take notes for the podcast, which is what I've been doing all night. And that's kind of why we are recording so early. So I'm hoping to get this episode up the same night that I'm recording it, which is May 28th on a Thursday. So that's that. But other than that, taking notes on the pod today, I've not been doing much. Watched a couple of TV shows, trying to get through this Lance Armstrong 30 for 30 that ESPN, I think they put up a couple nights ago. So that's pretty interesting. Only saw the first couple of minutes so far, but it seems really good. I'm really intrigued by that. Other than that, just hanging, I guess, on my phone, on Twitter. A little bit too much Facebook and Twitter time, almost to a point where I find myself in conversations with people I don't even fucking know and kind of just arguing why Derek Jeter is not overrated, why, the Knicks should take this guy. It's like I spent too much time today on Twitter and on Facebook. It's like I got to take a step back and realize, it's pointless. It's a moot point when you're on the internet with a bunch of, angry, 20-year-old kids. But other than that, man, I've got nothing for you today. Did nothing. Nothing productive in terms of getting anywhere. So just continuing to work on the pod. And yeah, so tonight we're gonna focus on Cole Anthony. Now, this is a prospect that's very fascinating, I guess, at least for me. I feel like I say that, though, with everybody, but really, especially with Cole Anthony, just because I see the disparity here between his floor and his ceiling, it seems to be pretty big. There are so many questions, and then there are so many things to like. Again, this is just my own opinion, but so that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to cover Cole Anthony, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Really quick, I want to fix the lighting in my studio here. Hold on, let me pause it. Okay, much better. Sorry, I had to fix the lighting in the room. If you're watching the podcast, you could probably tell that you couldn't really see my face as clear, but we're all good now. But if you're listening or watching the podcast here on BD4, thank you, and be sure to, if you haven't yet, subscribe to us, download the podcast, and all that fun stuff. You can find us on Apple, Google, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and obviously the videos up on YouTube and plenty more platforms as well. Just go to my website. It's in the description. It's up on the screen if you're watching the pod. It's on my Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram pages. It's all, wherever platform you're on, I'm sure all the information is right there. So yeah, like I said, I haven't been doing anything. It's unfortunate, some of the events that have been going on during COVID-19. Obviously, I don't really like to get too involved in anything outside of the sports world, but some rioting going on right now over something that was very, very unfortunate and something that should not have happened. But it's you know, violence is never the answer. It's something that I really hope gets resolved, and I hope in a different way, though, in a different manner. Um, it's some crazy shit's going on right now, and hopefully, just everybody's staying safe in Minnesota, where I think these riots are happening, and it's unfortunate that a bunch of animals and pigs have to loot the streets and cause just more harm, kind of contradict themselves. But so I hope everybody is staying safe in Minnesota, and just all around the world with this virus too. I hope everybody's doing all right. It's some crazy shit, but I'm holding my own here, and I'm just waiting for sports to return, guys. I'm really, really waiting for something to return. And again, we've talked about this. Obviously, there has been talk, some movement, um, when it comes to basketball. The NBA has a plan in place, and they're going to try to get going. It seems like they're trying to get going in that direction. There's some movement, at least more movement than there's been with fucking baseball. With baseball, it seems much less optimistic and much more pessimistic here. It seems as if the owners and the players are still feuding over contract negotiations and everything. So we'll see how this all plays out. At the end of the day, I just want some kind of live event, right? NASCAR is fun. In fact, there's a race going on right now, which I might, you know what? I want to tune into that. But yeah, it's let's see if I can find the race. There's not much going on. There isn't much going on, and obviously I don't want to waste too much time just talking nonsense, and you know, we're almost 10 minutes in, and we really haven't accomplished shit. So let's head to break, and as soon as we get back from break, guys, we're gonna dive right into Cole Anthony and discuss his strengths, weaknesses, and potential fit with the Knicks. Do they decide to draft him, and is he available at their spot? So let's head to break, and we'll get to all that. Hey fellas, really quick before we continue with the show, I just want to remind you, if you haven't yet subscribed to BD4, be sure to do so right now. Just go to nysportstalkrc.wordpress.com/connect. The other day when we covered LaMelo Ball and then afterwards touched on, broke down Killian Hayes, I said that, what I say, that they were, 1A and 1B on my list, and everybody else after that, was on a different level, 3 through whatever. And Cole Anthony, he happens to be probably that top guy on my list after Hayes and Ball. I really wouldn't mind taking Cole Anthony. I know he's very polarizing as a prospect when it comes to the Knicks fan base. Some people really like him, and some people just totally don't think he'll pan out. But I like, I'm in a position here, or the Knicks are in a position here to where they just need talent, right? And we're in a position as fans watching this draft coming up, whenever that is. It's going to be a draft where no matter who we select, no matter who anybody selects for that reason, that guy, that prospect, is going to come with question. That's just the type of draft this is, guys. It's a draft where there's a lot of upside with some of these prospects, but those same guys carry a lot of question. So I really, I don't like getting into I don't like getting too up or down on anybody in this draft. I just, I'm very when it comes to this draft, I have a very simple outlook on it. If he's talented, if he fits, good. Those are my two things. Can you fit and do you have talent, right? And I think I put a little more weight on that talent part than I do the fit. Just because you're the Knicks and you're looking for more backcourt talent, you're looking for your starter, um, your franchise guy at that position too. So that's where Cole Anthony comes into play. Third, probably third, after the or second after the 1A 1B thing on my list with Ball and Hayes. Cole Anthony, a 6'3", 190-pound guard, with a 6'4" and a half, 6'5" wingspan. Just turned 20 years old, so still very young. Good age for his class, and played at UNC in the ACC for a season in college. Was a one and done prospect there. I think the Tar Heels were 14-19 overall this past season. When Cole Anthony was on the floor, because I know he had that big knee injury. When he was there, they were 10-12, which is winning 46% of their games. And without him, they were 4-7, winning 36% of their games. So take that as it may be. And he played 22 games for them. So he did miss some time with that big, was it a torn meniscus or something? So played 22 games, started in all but two, averaged 35 minutes a night, and put up productive numbers: 19 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. The efficiency splits weren't pretty: 38% from the floor, 40% from two, 35% from three, and 75% from the free throw stripe. Doing all this on a volume of 15.7 field goal attempts per game, 9.3 2-point attempts, 6.4 3-point attempts, and 5.8 free throw attempts. So defensively collected 1.3 steals and 0.3 blocks, turning it over 3.5 times offensively per game, and then going back to defense, 2.9 personal fouls. Overall, if you're into those analytical numbers, I think his win shares were 2.1. Not sure how good that is, but and the player efficiency rating 17.5, which I know in the NBA that would be considered slightly above average. So now the projection here, obviously he's going to be Lotto, one of the top prospects in his class, but I think the next question becomes, how early does he get picked? Well, I honestly think he's anywhere from 3 to 5. I think there's a good chance he's, let's just say, top 5. Just like just like really everybody else in this lotto that we've covered so far. Sorry, I think yeah, I think he's top 5. So some of the comparisons I've heard, now I've heard a few comparisons, and I can see each of them. I can understand why they've been compared to Cole Anthony. Now, the one you hear most often, I would like to think it would be the Derrick Rose light, right? Kind of a lesser version of D Rose, and I see that, with the athleticism, the pull up jump shooting, likes to shoot off the bounce. A guy who's going to create. I've seen Mo Williams. I really agree with that. I've seen a Jamal Murray comparison, and I actually, that was very creative, and I like that. I have not seen that around too much, but I did see it in some kind of. I was reading a scouting report. I saw Jamal Murray, I believe, and I like that one too. So there's some there are some comparisons out there that pretty decent. Um, that lead you to believe he's got a pretty decent ceiling. I think there's a big upside when it comes to Cole Anthony. I think there's all-star level talent inside him somewhere, right? But the question is it going to be reached? Can he reach that peak? Do those? He's got that talent, no, unquestionably, right? It's no doubt about that. But do those deficiencies that he has in his game limit his role? Will he be a guy who's gonna put up those productive all-star type numbers, but is probably best in terms of being a winning player to come off the bench as a 6 man of the year type? Is he just going to be somebody who's a 6 man because of his big deficiencies, right? Usually players like him, volume scorers, got those streaky types, don't change too much, right? In terms of, becoming more efficient. So some people even seems like some people even have these boomer bust vibes when it comes to Cole Anthony. So some, I don't know, some really are, again, some are really down on the kid, but you do have to think, and I've watched a little bit of Tar Heel basketball this past season. You do have to think about it when you look at the overall picture here. Some of his struggles, Cole Anthony's, you'd have to think that some of them were more a product of the team's lack of spacing out there, and really just lack of overall talent than it is more on Cole Anthony, right? So I just feel like all these prospects come with question, but with their upside, but some of his deficiencies, Cole Anthony, I feel like come due to the fact that UNC didn't really have a talented, deep team this season, and he had to do a lot of the work. And we're gonna get to that specifically in a moment. But let's dive into some of his strengths, weaknesses. We'll bullet point them real quick, and then we'll dive into them more. So some of the strengths to Cole Anthony's game is we'll start with the one I think is going to be the focal point of his game is shot creating ability and his ball handling ability, right? His ability to create off the bounce. I also have that his athleticism and off ball potential give him some upside as a scorer. I've got size and I've got finishing upside, and then last but not least here is a strength, rebounding and defensive upside. Now, when we get to the weaknesses, we're going to be talking about his finishing right now, his shot selection, his playmaking, his positional fit, his defense, and his durability. So, all in all, taking those few things into account here, so I would say the swing factors here, the major phases of his game that we need to see translate or improve are going to be finishing, shot selection, and passing. Those three things I think are going to make or break. They're going to make or break his NBA career. Can he become a better finisher in the NBA? Will he improve the shot selection? And will he become a better passer for a guy who's going to be playing some point guard? So let's dive into the number one strength we talked about, and then we'll go, little by little. The shot creating and ball handling that he brings. That's the focal point of his game. That's what people think about when they think about Cole Anthony. A great isolation scorer. Somebody who's very quick and crafty with the ball, very tight with it, and he gets to the rim very well because of that speed and craftiness. So, he's able to, when you watch him, you can really see how he likes to kind of read the defender's hips and their feet, when he's in one-on-one situations, and he uses that to his advantage to create separation, right? If the defender looks like they're hedging this way on a screen, he'll take that, he'll read it he's very good at recognizing the defender and reading the defense. He's a great scorer off the bounce. Was actually ranked in the 72nd percentile in terms of scoring off the dribble this past season. Loves the step back, loves that sidestep, and a pretty good pull-up game in the mid-range area, driving and pulling up. Likes the jab step from three, more from the wing, right? He can shoot off that jab step. He likes to use that. And a great pick-and-roll scorer. He splits the defense pretty well in pick-and-roll. We'll split it pretty well. And I would like to believe he's got a three-level potential. As a scorer, he was 35% on three on over 6 attempts this past season, so he shot it effectively. Provides good range. He can shoot it from the NBA distance, and has a pretty quick release on the jumper. So I would like to believe he's got a good 3-point shot that could translate. And the in-between game, right? He's got a decent in-between game in the mid-range area. Has a nice floater that he can shoot pretty effectively in traffic, and a good off-balance layup shot. So acrobatic and athletic at the rim and traffic too. Of course, he's got to work on some finishing, but we'll get to that again later as a weakness. But he has the ability to get there, and he's shown flashes of being pretty acrobatic around the rim. And he's hit a fair amount of free throws to believe that he can become a good shooter, at a high volume too. Took 128 attempts this past season in just 22 games, and he hit him at an okay 75% rate. So I think that's a decent indicator to show you that he has the ability, the potential to become a solid shooter in the NBA. Let's move on to athleticism and his off-ball potential, right? He's got some speed, especially for his size. So he's very good in the open court. Can run the break effectively, and he's got some sneaky explosiveness. You'll see him throw down some pretty cool dunks here and there. He can get to the rim exceptionally, and again, he's acrobatic in traffic. We kind of talked about that. And overall, he just seems very comfortable off the ball. So he's not somebody who's actually, you would think a scorer, an ISO guy, a scorer's mentality like him would be ball dominant, but he's pretty comfortable off the ball. He shot 41% on catch and shoot this past season, and he can run off the screen pretty decently as well. So size, great size at the point guard position, 6'3", a few pounds under 200. That's pretty above average for a point guard. And then the finishing upside, I know the awful finishing numbers. It was like, I don't know, maybe in the 20 or 30% range in terms of finishing at the rim, which was like in the second percentile. So that was pretty awful. But again, how much was that due to UNC's lack of spacing, right? That crowded paint. They had two big men constantly on the floor with Cole Anthony, so he was kind of set up to fail on the inside. He was the only true scoring threat. He was the only one who had that ability to create. He has the athleticism, at least I think so, to where he could thrive, slashing and finishing at the rim. I think it's there. I think with more spacing at the NBA level, and hopefully the Knicks can get more spacing, it would help him become a better finisher. And rebounding and defensive upside. That's the last strength I have here for Cole Anthony. Very impressive rebounder, to be honest with you guys. Very impressive rebounding numbers for Cole Anthony at that size. Very impressive. Getting 7 rebounds per 40 minutes this past year at UNC. He tracks the ball pretty well, and I think he'll be a good rebounder. Reminds me of Westbrook on the glass, where he's aggressive and he'll put his nose in there at times to really go after it on the boards. Now defensively, he's pretty quick laterally. He's to where you could believe he'll be a decent perimeter defender, and he had some good games. I know in the McDonald's All-American game, he played excellent defense. And overall, his perimeter defense at least wasn't terrible. It's not bad. He's got the athleticism and he's got the toughness to where he's able to handle contact pretty well. So I think he'll be effective there in the NBA if he can continue to improve. 1.5 steals per 40 minutes. So that's also a number I like to throw at you just as an indicator to where he can be that pest here and there. Now let's go to the weaknesses, because again, this is kind of why some people are down on the kid. A lot of these go hand in hand too that I'm about to say. So keep that in mind. Finishing right now, at least. We talked about that already. Was it more a product of UNC, or is it him that has to get a little better at the rim? Shot selection. Now that's a big reason as well, though, for his inefficiency. A very streaky kind of shooter. Tough shot taker, tough shot maker kind of guy. We've heard that term thrown around often in the NBA. That can be a blessing and a curse, right? Somebody who's going to take those difficult off-balance J's. It could also hurt, and you can see some of those 6 out of 20, nightmare shooting games like we often saw with somebody else called Anthony. So we hope that he can improve his shot selection. He was just a woeful, disgusting 40% on his 2-point shots. Again, and a lot of that was at the rim. I think the mid-range shooting was pretty decent. So I just think he needs to play a little smarter, and at least for the first few seasons of his career, until he becomes more established, he needs to play through the system and, not do maybe as much ISO. Don't abuse it. I think that will help him become more efficient. Playmaking, some flashes right now, but not a great passer at the point guard spot. He did turn it over 3.5 times per game as opposed to his 4 assists per game, so not a pretty ratio. And again, this is going to lead me to my next weakness, positional fit. He's not a great passer for a point guard, but he's also pretty slightly undersized to play the shooting guard full time. He's more of a tweener right now, so he's not going to be very switchable defensively. That lack of length really hurts him there, and it's going to hurt him at the rim too. So where is he going to play? I would like to believe he's more of an off guard, somebody who's going to have to play the 2 a lot more, but maybe I'm wrong. He does have the ability to play off the ball. We mentioned that. So that's going to be something I keep an eye on. He doesn't really have average size for a shooting guard to keep up with those, stronger framed um, twos, but his play style doesn't exactly fit the true point guard role. So we'll see. That's going to be interesting to see how that translates in the NBA. Defense. His pick and roll defense in particular is not great. His footwork needs work. He crosses his legs a lot. Sometimes he'll gamble, and that will kind of cause some confusion on rotations, right? Doesn't know when he's going to go over versus under. Kind of gets lost at times there. So he needs to improve at most. Specifically, I think the biggest thing here he needs to improve defensively is that pick and roll D. And then obviously guarding on the inside, needing some more strength, all depending on where he's playing. Now, durability I have as the last weakness here. It's tough. It's really tough. This kid's got so much talent, but he's got a history of being hurt. It concerns me a little bit. The ankle issues in high school. And then you had, of course, this past year, again, with the torn meniscus, the knee injury, which caused him to miss a bunch of time. I think it happened on December 8th, and he was out all the way until, pretty sure, the start of February. So he missed almost an entire month. So that's that. You can also put that as a swing factor. We'll go health, finishing, shot selection, and passing. Those are the three things that I really, really would like to see Cole Anthony, improve on. Or not improve, just to either continue on succeeding in or improve on some certain things, right? Because he's good shooting. He's good at shooting right now. But he needs to prove that he's able to stay on the floor. And that's pretty much it when it comes to Cole Anthony, guys. I'm really intrigued by him. I think he can be a guy who either has that all-star potential, right? But it's going to be on him to improve some of his deficiencies and to play a more efficient style of basketball, right? And if he doesn't do those things, he could just become a guy who's going to come off the bench for you as a sixth man, right? It's all going to be very interesting. I'm very intrigued to see if it was more a UNC thing or if it was more a him thing. But we'll see, guys. Again, this is somebody who I would not mind taking. Cole Anthony is not my favorite prospect in this draft. He's not my second favorite prospect in this draft, but he's up there, definitely up there. And he's a shot creating, combo guard. He's more of a combo guard, again, a tweener that the Knicks need. They need that shot creator. They need that guy who could score and be aggressive off the bounce, right? They've been in need of that since fucking Marbury. So that's it. We're going to get to our question of the day. And yes, let's do that right now. Sorry, the mic was muted. All right, so we're going to get to our NYK question of the day. Let me just pull it up really quick. Always forget to pull it up. So last time out on episode 130, we asked you... Here it is. What number did Walt Clyde Frazier wear with the Knicks? What number did Walt Frazier wear with the Knicks? Told you to message me, comment, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever, and let me know the answer. The answer is he wore number 10 with the Knicks. Clyde Frazier was number 10 as their point guard for over a decade. So, yes, number 10. Now, tonight's question, all right, tonight's NYK question of the day is, let's see, okay, in 2013, Carmelo Anthony led the Knicks in scoring with 28.7 points, and J.R. Smith was second in scoring with 18.1. Outside of Amari Stoudemire, who played in just 29 games, who was the next best scorer? So it's a long question. Let me repeat that. In 2013, Carmelo Anthony led the Knicks in scoring with 28.7 points per game. J.R. Smith was second with 18.1 points per game. Outside of Amari Stoudemire, so throw him out, who played in just 29 games, who was the third best scorer in terms of points per game on that Knicks team. So let me know, guys. Inbox me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Comment on YouTube or whatever other platform you can comment that the podcast is available on. So, guys, thank you so much for coming by. Thank you for listening to BD4. Thank you for watching BD4. And I think that's it. That's all we've got on Cole Anthony. So, yeah, this is your host, Rob Carbone, with what episode are we on? 131 of BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. And I'm signing out. All right, ciao.